Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Stuff and Things Podcast. I am Sam. It is Wednesday, which means it's Walking Dead Wednesday on our show. Joining me to discuss the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead, it's my partner in crime. It's Stefan.
Hey buddy, we're back. Another Wednesday is here.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
You know what? I'm not doing too bad, mate. I am not doing too bad at all.
That's what I like to hear. It is Wednesday, which means it's Walking Dead Wednesday on our show. It is an episode of Fear the Walking Dead, something we've had a little struggle with so far in 7B. But this is episode 13 of season 7, and the title of the episode was...
So this is The Raft.
Correct, sir. I'm going to be open and honest again up front.
Not too honest.
No, open and honest again up front, because we've had a few people kind of email in, and they're feeling a similar way to us, which is quite helpful. So
okay. That's good, because normally we get them, and it's like, you're too negative. You need to see the good side. It's nice that people are actually seeing our side as well this time.
Right. So let's just do this. Holly, who's in Australia. Hello, Holly. You don't say where in Australia. Australia's a big place. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do accents. People get upset with you.
Mate. All right.
Yeah. So Holly has said that, hey guys, enjoying Walking Dead Wednesday. I, like you, have found the second half of season 7 really odd. It feels like they had their story mapped out, but now they're just meandering, like they're just filling up the space. I agree with Holly on that. I think me and you've talked about it a few times. Like, how to best to describe the way things are? And it feels like they're stuck. Like, we've got 8 episodes for the back half of the season, and we've only got story for 2. So,
remember a couple of seasons ago when they had like the Mad Woman?
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah, she was fun.
And everyone was like, she's going to be a bad guy for like a season. She's going to create something. She'll be crazy.
Yeah.
But she was only actually a bad guy for like 4 episodes.
Yeah. It was like half the season at best.
Yeah, I feel like what's happened here is that they had another bad guy lined up to take them out of this season and into the next season.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, they're going to take they'll take the tower in the first few episodes of the next half of the season.
Yeah.
And then they'll think everything's amazing in the tower, and then this real bad force, like, imagine a Negan or Whisperer-sized enemy is going to appear, and they'll wrap this season up so that next season it's already like loads of tension and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then the bad guy they cast actually went, sorry guys, I've had a phone call from another company. I'm going to go do a movie instead. And they've gone, oh no, okay, make the tower story longer. We'll just fill the season with the tower. And that's what it feels like.
It does feel weird. It does feel like it's kind of meandering for time, because, to me it doesn't make a great deal of sense. But I mean, thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. We also had an email from Dan. Dan is in Pittsburgh, USA. Dan says...
Howdy. Is that howdy? I don't know.
No, not Pittsburgh, dude. Seriously, stop doing accents. So bad. Dan in Pittsburgh.
You're so good at them. So
No. Only some. There's like a select few. Like, hey, Dan. So Dan from Pittsburgh. Dan says, hey guys, enjoying the show. I listen to Marvel, Star Wars, and The Walking Dead with you. Thank you.
What a legend.
Yeah, I know.
I apologise for that.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah, be nice to people, dude. There's a couple on here you can be nasty to. I'll let you know there. But yeah, Dan says, like you, struggling with 7B. It seems like everything they did really well has just been stopped. I mean, what the hell is going on with Alicia? Seriously, they built it up like there was going to be some big storyline about her being the cure. I remember watching Talking Dead where they talked about it. That's a difficult sentence to say, by the way. Watch the Talking Dead where they talked about it. I mean, he's right, but just, that was fun to say. And now nothing. It's like, oh yeah, she's still got a fever. Never mind, move on. There's other stuff to talk about. No, I want to talk about that. Is it? I'll put this to you. Is it a case of we had different expectations and the show's gone in a different direction, so that's why we don't like it, or is it just actually that bad? That's a worthwhile question, because me and you debate that on Marvel shows a lot, which is because you get this kind of headcanon, don't you? Which is like, oh, I expect this, and then when it's not that, you naturally feel like, oh, I want it to be this.
Yeah.
And then like a second view, and you're like, oh, actually no, that was pretty good.
Yeah, now I look at it, actually.
Yeah, now I get it. Do you think that could be the case with this? Because at the end of 7A, I do think I had a pretty clear, okay, 7B, we know Madison's going to show up at some point, so that's there. We know that Alicia's...
Woo!
Yay. We know that Alicia's there. We know that, so Alicia's been bit, but she's not turning. We had that, and like, that's not kind of come out in the wash, it's just like that has not helped. So do you think it could be that? Do you think it could be that we've just looked at this season with an expectation that, and they've gone a different direction, and that's why we're not enjoying it?
I want to say yes, but I feel like, again, there's going to be a couple of things we mentioned in this podcast that make me go, it's less expectation and more
to be fair to everybody who's emailed in, they've emailed in ahead of this episode. So they have messaged post episode 12, not episode 13. So it's quite possible Dan has watched episode 13 and gone, nope, just bad. No debate.
Yeah, no, it's just
bad.
Just bad. Yeah.
Okay, and we got one last one. A lady called Emma from Birmingham, England. Go on then.
No, I'm not doing it.
Go on.
I'm not going to be a broomie.
No, you're not.
Not going to be a broomie.
Yes, all right then, Pete. Hi Emma. Lovely to hear from you. Emma.
So sorry.
Emma, unlike other people, doesn't open with "really love the show" or anything. She just doesn't.
Oh, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, she just doesn't do pleasantries at all. So Emma says, "Fear the Walking Dead season 7 has been a bit of a mixed bag for me. There were certainly bits in part A which I enjoyed." But again, I didn't feel like the story was actually going anywhere. It just felt like it was meandering. I mean, Alicia following a zombie. What the hell was that about? And that was at least 2 to 3 episodes of plotline. She makes a valid point.
What a jump.
She we quite enjoyed 7, but she does make a valid point about that. So going into 7B, it just feels like it's the same. It just feels like all of season 7's a write-off, and we don't actually have any direction. If the show was to go episodic in terms of each week we have an actual story which we follow and they resolve that and move on, that's fine. Or if we have an overarching story, which is what every single week builds towards, that's fine. At the moment, I feel like we're getting neither. We're getting very, very minute character development on characters we already know everything about, and we're also not advancing the story at all. We're fast approaching towards the end of the season, which basically means they're going to try and ram everything into a couple of episodes, which they will then use as season highlight reels, and everyone will go, wow, what a season that was. It's nonsense.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree.
Yeah. Emma, we'd have been a lot nicer to you if you'd said we were nice. Just letting you know that. Just putting it out there. If you're like, hey guys, enjoy your show, that always gets you on there. We got a couple of other messages as well. The other messages are basically just people saying similar things. So
that's cool. I'm just going to open up my stuff and things email because, Oh, no. Last email, 14th of January 2021. It's fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
No one email Stefan.
So Stefan at stuffandthangspodcast.com. Stefan spelled STEPHAN at
I wonder how many people at
podcast.com. I do know some time ago someone emailed both of us on a regular basis, so I always assumed you were getting them, and then when I looked they were sending them to Stephen.
Yeah, I bet say I wonder if I need to have a Stephen account.
No.
Just like, I have 150 emails.
Yeah, just a redirect, yeah. But anyway, we do need to talk about this episode because obviously that's what people are here listening for. It is season 7, episode 13, The Raft. I'm going to open by literally talking about the cold open, which is Sherry. I'm going to read to you my note, and you tell me if you felt the same. Sherry seems to be gathering supplies and what looks to be a boat in secret.
Yeah, so I actually called this wrong. I was messaging you because you watched it first, then I watched it. And as the episode went on, I was like, oh, Sherry's going to do a runner.
Yeah.
He's got the boat in the raft. Sherry's going to do a runner. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Well, I like you. I mean, let's face it. She's got previous for just vanishing.
Yep.
And I, like you, thought to myself, what is she planning here? Is it a case of she's putting all this together as her and Dwight have an escape route? Is she doing it because she's planning to run away? And what immediately jumped to my mind, because of the way the episode went and the way the discussion was that she was pregnant. And she's surrounded by all that radiation, all that stuff. Your natural instinct's going to be, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm done with this now. See you later.
Yeah. So I did wonder if we were going to get this quite horrible scene where she'd left a note for Dwight to say, hey, Dwight, I'm pregnant. I needed to get away. I knew that you'd want to take the tower for me, or some nonsense. And him be left again. But this time knowing that she's gone with a baby on board. You know, he just would have been like, what the hell?
He chased her enough the first time. Imagine now.
Yeah. So I did...
Oh my God, there's a shark behind the raft. No, it's just Dwight swimming really fast to catch you up.
So I'm kind of pleased that didn't happen. But on the flip side, what did you think about her actual explanation behind it? So her actual explanation was she was doing it for Dwight because she wanted him to get away from this situation due to her concerns that he would go full Team Strand like he did full Team Negan in the past.
Now... knowing what the storyline kind of was with him and Negan, as much as he was full, was he ever actually full Negan? Because he resented him the entire time. He did as he was told to survive.
I think he killed a lot of people, which Dwight now would rather not do. You know, Dwight. Yeah, I get the impression that Dwight did a lot of stuff, you know, and he did. There was a fair few characters. I remember that lady with the glasses. He shot her through the eye with Daryl's crossbow.
Yeah,
you know
that was a shot.
That kind of is funny because people are like, "Oh, Dwight, he's a good guy." No, Dwight spent some time very much in Team Negan camp. You know, he executed people. He did stuff to people that was bad. Fed Daryl dog shit sandwiches, etc., etc. So. He definitely was doing it under duress, but he at the same time did do those things. So there's two aspects to this. One is I respect the Fear the Walking Dead writers that they are not letting that go.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, in The Walking Dead, Negan's redemption arc means that whole forced rape situation is kind of like, we don't talk about that. You know, we don't talk about that because, you know, when he brutally murdered people, everyone's brutally murdered people in the apocalypse. Oh, he ran with an iron fist. Yeah, well, he was surrounded by a lot of bad guys. He had to be mean. He had to be the toughest to stay in charge, you know. Yeah, but what about all the women he forced into his bed? Oh, yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. In Fear the Walking Dead, by having Sherry there as the character, they've kept that alive. They've kept that rumbling on.
She is keeping hold of that hatred and stuff for him.
Massively. Definitely. She has got scars from that situation that she is struggling with, and they are showing us that. And also, she has genuine concerns. Like, you know, you did all of that evil stuff just to keep me alive and safe. What would you do, therefore, for me and your child? You know, I'm pregnant with your child. You know, if I've seen you go down that dark road before, I dread to think what you would do this time.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
It's
for a baby as well? Yeah.
It's a valid... This is where I'm kind of like with it. It's like it's a valid concern, and you can understand that. It is a valid way of thinking.
Yeah.
The bit that I don't really get, and this is where I think I'm tripping up with the show a little bit, because like that whole thing to it, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. You got me there. You got me interested in that, your way of thinking. Wouldn't any normal person have a conversation? Even if she didn't want to reveal, like, you know, I'm pregnant or anything like that, wouldn't you just sort of like have a conversation on the lines of, I am concerned, you know, last time when we were in this situation... Because Dwight quite rightly says in this, look, if you don't think I've changed, if you don't think I've grown, if you don't think I've changed, if you don't think being around Morgan, being around these other people, if you've not seen me change in this time, then what are we doing? You know, and that's the thing. Is like last time he did that and he went through that and he has redeemed himself since then. You know, just because you did something once doesn't mean you're going to do it again. Hell, I've made mistakes in my life and I've never repeated them because they were mistakes. And so it kind of...
And that wasn't like going around brutally murdering people because someone said so.
Thanks for clarifying, man. No, it wasn't.
Just clarifying that.
Yeah, for so everybody listening. Absolutely not that. Yeah.
So surely, yeah, if they were going to have a redemption arc and be the whole kind of I'm not going to go down that route again,
yeah,
then yeah, it kind of works because it is such a extreme
it is
that he was at.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
It does, and to me, I can understand her thinking, but like to go as far as like gathering supplies, getting the boat, getting all that, literally getting an exit route set up for it. I mean, what was that conversation going to be? Hey Dwight, let's go have a nice romantic night in the boat, then knock him out and push him out to sea? I don't...
And the fact that she didn't plan on going with him, that was the bit that confused me. Yeah, so it wasn't like, okay, we'll start a life together. No, you're going in the boat. Off.
Yeah, and good, I'm glad, because it's like, you're pregnant, you're in the apocalypse with zombies everywhere and the radiation. Her saying we need to get out of here makes perfect sense. Like, I don't want you to be in this situation. I don't want me to be and the baby to be in this situation. We gotta go. I would get that. I would think, ooh, you bastard, you're not helping Morgan out. But, you know, that's a whole other story to come back to. But to just be like, oh, what was your plan here? I was making the boat for you, so you could get away, and I'd stay here and raise the baby all by myself. I was gonna call
in the radiation.
I was gonna call it Radioactive Randy. You know, just freaking doesn't make sense, does it? It's like, and don't get me wrong, I know not everything in life is logical, and I know people's behaviour isn't always scripted, and even though this is, but I did wonder about that. I did find that a little bit odd. But they do seem to resolve it throughout the episode. Obviously, there's a fair few conversations, but they do seem to resolve it.
They get there. I guess they get there eventually. But yeah, it was just so strange that it wasn't even for her. It was just for him. Yeah. It felt weird.
I'm glad you put that word. One of the other things that happened in this episode, and I've got this as a bullet point, and I'd love to know what you think about this again. So I've got the bullet point: the submarine has a radiation leak, and everyone has to evacuate it. So the submarine, which has been their safe place, is now no longer safe. They have to leave that.
Yep.
So I've got two things for you on this. Number one, that seems to have been very sudden. just what? Someone accidentally hit a button? I mean, what happened there? I don't get that.
I was putting a picture up in my room and I made a hole in the wall and now it's leaking radiation.
Yeah, I don't see what happened there. Okay, so that's one thing. The second thing, I don't know about you, but I thought the idea with the submarine and stuff like that. I know there's a prequel show out there, a spin-off with regards to sub, which isn't airing in the UK anywhere at the moment, so we can't talk about it even if we wanted to.
But we will find it eventually, and we will talk about it. It looks like it could be really good. Point.
Well, this is my point I was about to make. The reason why I think it looks good is because of that confined space, that horror element, that kind of Noah's. You know, it's going to be interesting. That is an environment where you can have really intense scenes, really kind of. So on the submarine, would you not think that? Imagine like 1 a.m. a radiation alarm goes. Outside the sub, for whatever reason, there's a load of walkers. Like, they've been drawn in by the radiation alarm. Let's say it actually sounds an alarm. So you've got all the people on the sub, and you've got this choice. We jump off the sub into the herd, the walkers that are gathering. We stay on the sub, and we could end up getting radiated, glowing in the dark for the rest of our lives, which will be short and painful.
Yep.
That is a dramatic episode.
Them having to make this choice.
That is an episode where you've got trying to solve problems. That is an episode that could stand on its own, fit into the story, and put characters in danger. You could lose a few red shirts. I don't understand. Like, and all we get is this throwaway line. Yeah, by the way, don't come to the submarine. There's a radiation leak. We're leaving it. Oh.
And that's literally it. That
Okay.
is all there is. It's kind of like,
Oh, okay. So this location that has been an integral part of the show for 2 and a bit seasons is gone off camera. It is gone. It's just done. It's like the equivalent of The Walking Dead, and one day someone just rocking out and going, "Oh, I'm heading to Alexandria." No, you can't do that. Burnt down. Oh, really? Yeah. So that's gone. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Fair enough. I also am thinking of we ought to do a drinking game where we do a shot every time someone says the word tower.
mate, I'd be hammered.
You and me both, brother. I lost count. I was doing it. I had a little tally chart and I had 12 when I just gave up. Tower. Gonna go take the tower or the tower. The only safe place is the tower. What about the tower? Oh, you could go to the tower. I was done.
You think the tower, I think the tower. We think the tower. The tower is great. The tower is bad. The tower is amazing.
Tower. I did finish the episode and just be like, I really want to go to a tower now. I don't know why. I just want to find the nearest tower to me. I need to be in a tower. I don't understand it. So yeah, anyone else out there listening in podcast land, if you suddenly feel the urge to head to a tower, it's because of the Fear of the Walking Dead. There's some subliminal messaging going on. You know, keep an eye on that, people.
It's either going to be that, or there's a certain fast food chain that does a tower burger who's getting really popular right now.
There's an idea. You've made me hungry now. So yeah, we do. Okay, here's another thing in this episode. I am hoping this pays off, okay? Because otherwise, again, I'm curious. Dwight gets an SOS over the radio while Sherry's off setting up the boat. Both of them head there from different locations. Lady is on her own, surrounded by the dead. Dwight partially saves her. Sherry shows up and completely saves her. And the lady basically is there looking for her son that went missing. But she's arrived via a boat. So her son went missing and swam here. Anyway.
Now, there's a couple of things with that. So there's a couple of things. Let's just circle this for a second.
Yeah.
She woke up, my son is gone.
Yeah.
And the first question she was asked was, well, are you sure it wasn't the dead?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Good question. Are you sure he definitely kind of got taken or ran away and didn't just get eaten?
Yeah.
Fair question. Her response is very, why did they not touch me then?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, let's rule that out. That's good, but at least you've addressed it. Okay. You've arrived here by boat, so was there another boat there? Was there a boat missing? It's mentioned later on that this woman came from a really clean area.
Yeah.
So therefore, by clean, I'm guessing they're talking about radioactive.
No
stuff.
radioactivity. Yeah.
Yeah. So that means that she's come from a fair old distance.
Yeah.
To get here via boat. Would you not search the surrounding areas first?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't fully understand the idea.
No, it was very, very strange.
Yeah, I didn't understand the idea that you would wake up in a location and your child would be missing and you would assume that they've got a boat. So, I mean, I don't know. This could be a community full of boats, you know, like...
They literally are, this little tiny island in the lake.
Oceanside, and so when the kid's gone missing... Yeah, I don't know.
These are ocean all sides. Instead of ocean sides, ocean all sides.
Yeah, I mean, the islanders. I mean, she basically says they heard the transmission from Strand, and I'm guessing she thinks her son has grabbed a boat and headed to the tower. I don't know what
this
kind of...
This leads to your theory about Madison as well, of how far that radio thing travelled.
Yeah, it's painful. I also got a question as well. What sort of mother is this one? If the child wakes up in the middle of the night to escape his own mother to head to a stranger due to a radio signal, what kind of sociopath is this mother as well? So
he didn't wake her up to say, "Mum, we're somewhere good to go."
Yeah, Mum.
He's gone. Yep,
he's just literally left her. So yeah, I don't know. Or unless someone...
That's a whole good point. I haven't even thought of that.
Unless someone out there is basically kidnapping kids but leaving people alive. Anyway,
No, I like the idea of he just hates his mother that much. You took away my PlayStation. The tower. Yay!
Yeah. So, another question, another thing I've got for you here, which again is, I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking. Okay, I know how this sounds, but I'm generally discussing these points because I am confused. At the end of the last episode, we saw John Dory Sr. sacrifice himself so Morgan and Baby Mo can get away. At the end of that episode, we see a really good shot, and I've gone back to watch it to make sure I did remember it correctly, of a field and Morgan walking through the field, and all of the walkers, and I need to stress this, all of the walkers are either in their wall formation or are currently munching on John Dory Sr. because they worked out how to eat through his armor on the second attempt. Anyway, that was last week. Okay. But the shot is there, and it's clear, and there's a good 10 to 15 meters distance. Morgan walks off. Nothing is following him. I cannot stress this enough. In the shot that we are given, not one walker is even looking in his direction.
Yeah.
In this episode, Morgan is being followed by all of them.
The entirety.
The entirety of Strand's wall of the dead is now following Morgan. So, off camera, Morgan must have gone, oh, hang on. Once they finished eating John, I'll wave at a few of them and try and lure them away. Or, this is just rubbish.
See, because the other point of this is, for me, that it is made abundantly clear 4, maybe 5 times. Morgan has done this because Strand knows they are his biggest safety net that he has.
Yeah.
So why the hell did no one in the tower do anything to stop all the walkers walking away?
No, I know.
Play some music from the top of the building, let off some gunshots.
Yeah.
Heck, sacrifice someone over the top, because they appear to do that fairly often.
Yeah, don't they ever? Yeah.
Nothing at all was done,
No.
and Strand is now just stood at the top of the tower going, "No, come back!"
Well, the
No!
basics
I've lost
is
all my walkers.
he shines the light, and that's what lures them in. Well, all right, fine, but like you just said, if they are all leaving, you fire some gunshots. You do so. Someone goes down to the ground floor and like rings the dinner bell, like, "Oh, come and get me! Look at me! Tasty!"
Yeah, but apparently he has just stood there and waved them all off.
Yeah,
No, that's a shame.
he's just stood there and gone, "Oh, actually, no, never mind then. Okay, hopefully everything's all right."
Makes no sense.
It's weird. It's odd. It's very, very odd. But so following that then, so I can't work out how that's happened. So something has happened off camera to do that. A pet hate of mine. It's like, don't do that to us. So he is marching this horde, and he wants to do a handoff. So he wants to get Baby Mo back to the sub. At this point, he doesn't realise the sub's glowing. So he contacts Sherry and Dwight. And he basically says to them, like, "Hey, guys, I want to do a handoff. I want you to march these walkers to this crater. We've been told this crater is already full of walkers, so go and add these to it anyway. Job done." So they meet up, and they get ambushed by rangers. So, again, this feeds into your, what the hell? These rangers have decided to ambush Morgan and etc. and fire on them with guns, putting Baby Mo in danger, because you're firing semi-automatic rifles. Okay.
Yeah, no, luckily it's all the stormtroopers from the Death Star that have been recruited as rangers, so therefore there wasn't actually any danger to Mo.
I'm happy to go with the fact that amateurs with weapons aren't going to be accurate. However, I do struggle still with several times in this episode alone where 10 years into the apocalypse, people are still getting overrun by walkers. Like, they are there with semi-automatic rifles, with a herd, like a football stadium emptying, coming towards them. Leave. You 10 years you've been dealing with this, 10 long years, and you're telling me you're just going to stand there and go, "Oh no, what can I possibly..." Go the other way. Like, Morgan was literally just walking with a child ahead of them and was fine. These do not sprint, they do not run. All you got to do is run for 30 seconds and then walk, because you've put distance between you. They don't speed up. you're fine.
They will just continue to follow you, maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on how long you run for and get out of the
Exactly.
way. But yeah, they're not going to start going, oh, bastard's running. I'm going to run off.
I'm going to have to speed. Come on, everyone, speed up, pick your knees up. No, it doesn't. So for them to just be eaten, what kind of morons are they? I'm watching it like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Why would you just stay
there?
there?
This is the scene where Morgan gives Dwight the baby and kind of gets them. Now, I'm watching that scene and I'm like, okay, so my only theory here is that they've gone, it's fine, I've got a gun, I'm going to stand here and just keep firing at them. But
maybe.
Surely common sense says, oh, they're getting a bit close. Oh, they're getting a bit close. Oh, I'm dead.
I'm lost with it.
There's some bits like that, like you say, it's happening too often.
It's kind of like every
Charlie and Prince Ali went into the building, and the guys that had but he cannot fly. They were all kind of sorry, but they got overrun as well, and it's happening so often, and it's like, come on.
Every now and again, a character doing something stupid, you can go, "Oh, what an idiot," because it's like that guy did something stupid. But for the general masses to behave this way after 10 years.
There's another scene later on as well when the fire alarm's going off and they're in the building.
Yes, yeah.
And they're coming at them down this tunnel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you're like, oh no, that's the way out. Okay.
Yeah.
Bit of an issue there maybe. But then they come in from the other side as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, you've made this perfectly clear to everyone that there is only one way in.
One way in.
How have they already got behind these two that are trying to turn off the fuses?
Yeah, so basically, once you get down into this place, there's one tunnel in, and then it's a bit of a rabbit warren. So they were obviously in a corridor where there were multiple access points. But it still stands, like, again, 10 years into the apocalypse, the dead are coming. You surely are better prepared than these guys are like, oh no, look, there's zombies, and
then they wipe out the entire battalion of them. And it's like,
all the Rangers are gone, except for Wes, of course, who is wearing the plot armor of destiny in this episode.
Oh mate, we need to circle back to Wes a bit later on.
No, let's do it now.
We're doing it now. Okay, we're going full Gimple. We're going to jump around. What is going on with Wes? Like, he actually had a full-on "I am now a villain" moment.
I just... What the
like when he's walking around in the building, and he kills the walker up against the wall, and he runs around the corner and he stood there with the raining insider bunker.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where the water's coming from at this point because they're in a desert of radiation, and if a pipe has been leaking for 10 years, I feel like it would have run out by now.
I think actually, all joking aside, that facility had those radiation showers. Do you remember in the basement it had that massive pool of water, like a natural spring? So
maybe
that happening, okay.
But yeah, no, he kills the walker, he runs into his pit, and the water's pouring down his face, and you see his face change, and it's like, ooh, origin story. Ooh, there's now a villain. He's now a villain.
Now call him the Wet Bandit.
Yeah. Where's the Wet Bandit in?
That works. That works.
Dead. Yeah.
Oh, he's in several scenes in this. The first scene, he's on a horse. He tracks down Dwight and Sherry. She pulls a gun.
You're not going to shoot me. You have a code. She's like, I'll shoot the ground and really mess you up.
So she does. So she shoots the ground. The horse bolts, as it would, knocks him on his ass. They take his gun off him. They basically treat him like a child, which I loved, actually. I did think to myself, that because they spoke to him like really patronising. Like, okay, you're having your little teenage, whatever it is, phase.
Yeah.
When you snap out of it, we'll still be here for you, but get out of my way, kid. And I kind of
that scene, Dwight's line. Yeah.
That scene worked for me. Like that scene, I kind of left that of like, Wes, I don't understand this. I don't understand why you've gone team. You've jumped. That whole thing still doesn't make sense to me. But the way they treated him in that scene. Okay, fine, but then the rest of the episode where he keeps showing up, I'm like, really? And the scene with Dwight, so we have this scene where he's flanked by two guards, and Dwight kills both of them, but then just has a little wrestle with Wes. Wes was there to take. I don't get it.
They're like, I can't kill Wes. He was one of us. He might still turn good.
But the other two, straight up murder them. No problem at all. Absolute no issue.
Well, I mean, technically, he only murdered one.
Yeah, okay, so he uses one as a
fire to one.
He uses one as a human shield and takes out the other one. But Wes can't be, poor Wes. Like I said, they gave him that chance earlier in the episode. They gave him the speech. They gave him an opportunity to walk away. He's now come for them again with 2 armed guards. It doesn't make sense.
This is the point where you shoot him in the leg and go, now that's your last warning, or something.
Just something where that he doesn't just have a little wrestle with him, because again, this off-camera crap. Sherry takes the baby and goes. He is there wrestling with Wes. Next thing you know, he's caught up with Sherry, no problem at all, and he's like, "Oh, where's Wes? Oh yeah, he's around." So what happened? What did you do? Knock him out and run away? No. What? Tie him up? No.
I've just slowed him down a bit, I think is the line. It's like,
what does that mean?
You've broken his foot?
Yeah.
What?
No, clearly nothing, because the rest of the Rangers and Wes rock up next. And it's like, this also circles back to the Strand thing we talked about last week, which is Strand is so paranoid. He's so stressed out about traitors, and he's throwing people off the building on a regular basis. Strand is that far gone that he took Wes on as his second in command and sent Wes out in charge of all those Rangers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I mean about the writing in this show. Like, I'm just like,
because
try and help me make sense of it.
Wes could have so easily been planted there by Morgan and now been sent out with all the Rangers that could either be ambushed or could be turned against him, or but no, it's fine. You came here at the right moment, so promotion.
But it's
very strange.
It's bizarre. You're trying to show us that Strand is now so far gone, and that's the key thing. We followed the Strand story since the start of Fear the Walking Dead. He is literally one of the OG characters.
Massively so.
Him turning villainous is not a shock to any of us. It's like a beautiful long game in this show that makes perfect sense. Him being the big bad actually works for me on so many levels.
Do you know what? I agree, because of where he started and how his character was in the beginning anyway.
Exactly, yeah. So him going that way, I'm fine. Them showing us how far gone he was mentally around that portrait and stuff, all great stuff, all good, kind of like, oh wow, yeah, he really is, not on the planet with this.
No.
And then them demonstrating his level of paranoia after what Morgan did. Okay, but you cannot show us this. You cannot show, look, he's really far gone. He is so paranoid. Like, I mean, so paranoid. And then have someone go, "Can I be in your gang now?" And him going, "Yes, you're now my best friend." That doesn't make sense. You can't do an entire half of an episode teaching us that he is so paranoid just to be like, oh, actually, but on this occasion, no paranoia at all. You like, perhaps Wes has a trustworthy face. Perhaps we're doing it a disservice.
That's how this works.
It just. But this is the problem, and I think, judging by the emails and messages we've got, other people are feeling the same way. It's like, I'm into this. Like, I want this. I'm into it, but that doesn't make sense. Or what? Why that? And I think I said to you 2 episodes ago, there are plenty of times where me and you have gone into a show and we've picked episodes apart and we've said this doesn't make sense, and then at the very end we've gone, oh, okay, you've backsold it. Now I'm starting to understand. These kind of things we're picking up on this, they're not things you can backsell. They're not stuff like, unless Strand is fine, unless the whole paranoid thing was a joke, or maybe he is paranoid about Wes, and maybe do you see where I'm going with this? Is like, there is, to backsell this again would be just such a monumental shift.
Yeah, the only way it's going to kind of work is Wes gets back to Strand, explains what happens, and Strand turns around and goes, "No, Wes, I had you followed. I can't trust you. This is what actually happened because I've been told it." Yeah. And even then, you turn around and go, but why do you trust what the other guy's saying? Because you're so paranoid. Yeah. And it's going to have flaws in it, no matter what.
You are down a rabbit hole with this. So I've been trying to think of the end game, and I've been trying to think of how they bring Madison back into this. And I've come up with a theory, and I was going to run it past you before we kind of wrap stuff up with this with a few other scenes.
Okay.
So my theory is, you remember Strand really, really not kind of loved, but kind of really respected Madison.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did, and I wonder if the end game of this is actually Madison showing up and him snapping out of this I am master. Do you see where I am? Like a confrontation, Alicia Strand, they're going at it, they're like on the verge of one of them's gonna have to kill the other one, and then Madison rocks up and like, Victor, what are you doing with my daughter? And that's kind of the end of the season, and then we got to wait till season 8 to get it resolved.
I honestly think you're possibly onto something. I really do.
Like, you just imagine, like, he's there and they're going to throw Alicia off the roof and the phone rings and he's like, oh, who's possibly ringing to come in to, oh, let's answer it. Oh, it's some woman. She says her name's Madison, and both of them look at each other like, dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
Mummy! Yeah.
Oh, damn. And she actually goes, yeah, it's I'm remarried. I've been away for a while, and I got picked up by these people in a helicopter, and I met a guy. So my name's Madison Grimes now.
The Walking Dead universe would lose there.
Can you imagine? It would be like a damn explosion of nuclear proportions going off. But anyway, so just now I've put that headcanon out there for everybody to really, really enjoy.
He's forgotten about Michonne and RJ and the rest of them. I'm never getting back there. Let's start a new life.
I've moved on. I've met this woman called Madison. I fell in love with her beautiful, expressionless face. Anyway.
Man, I think I preferred the Uncle Rick storyline. I really do.
All right. We'll circle back.
Please go back to Uncle Rick. I can't deal with Madison
We'll circle
Grimes.
back to that, because I do love the thing about the Uncle Rick storyline. Would actually crack me up the most would be the fact that she's been around Morgan for all this time. And it's like, like today we had in this episode, we had that moment where he said about leaving people behind. And this is the next thing I want to talk about. He actually, in essence, without saying them, he references Rick and everyone. He's like, I left all these people behind and I really regret that. That really gets to me.
I can't go through leaving people. It was so upsetting. I've made a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. He
made a really big point of it, didn't he?
They did, actually, yeah. Yeah, I thought that as well. It's interesting that they devoted that entire scene to him really hammering the point home he would not leave again because of how much it impacted him last time.
Yeah.
Just pausing, just letting everyone let that sink in.
And I actually quite like the fact they did it, because if you remember, his first episode on Fear the Walking Dead was at the junkyard, and everyone came to visit him to be like, don't go, man, stay. Yeah. Rick was there, don't go, stay. And he still left them behind. So the fact that that has had such a massive impact on him.
Yeah.
And is probably the reason that we've seen before in Fear the Walking Dead that he sticks with this group of survivors.
He does, yeah.
Even though we have the whole I lose people, then I lose myself, the fact that leaving Rick and that regret of leaving his old group behind...
It's a massive plot. It's
a massive impact on him.
It's a massive character. It is a...
It's a development arc almost,
Well, it's huge. And it's a point that all of us looked at that in the episode and went, oh, he's referencing back in the day, that's huge, that's massive. And then in this very episode, he then leaves. 12
minutes later.
He
gets on a boat and leaves the whole group because that's what I have to do. Like, come on!
So here's two things. Okay, one, you pointed out to me last week that how in the hell did they record them singing so fast for Baby Mo for John Dory Sr.? So not only did they do that, not only did they think, oh crap, the Rangers are coming, the dead are there, we got to get the baby out. I know, let's sing a song first. They also put a hidden message on the end.
Yeah.
On the basis of what? On the basis that they thought that Morgan would get this recording and be like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to kick back and listen to them singing. Anyway.
Yeah, that was like one of those random things. Like, there's a secret message for me, and it's at the very end of the tape.
Yeah.
Now, I have two stepchildren.
Yeah.
And I can promise you, with all their little musical devices and baby monitors, and we've got like this Tony box thing that you put a character on top and it plays the songs or stories, etc. At no point I don't think I've ever actually got to the very end of it.
No. I also want to point out as well, okay, so when he says that, Grace has put a hidden message on this. I heard that, I thought, that's cool. I wonder what it's going to be. In my head, it's like, Morgan, when you approach the tower, there's a door to the left. It's only got 2 guards. On the first floor, there's only ever 10 guards. They're all armed, but they're generally swapped. 11 p.m. every day, it's the switch. I was expecting some sort of tactical breakdown, some sort of helpful ass information. No, it's Morgan, take the baby and go.
Yeah, see, like, I went the other way. When he said about secret message,
yeah,
I was like, oh my god, Morgan is losing the plot. He has listened to them singing and he thinks she has like an emphasis on a few certain words. He's like, it's a hidden message. She said the word right, left, and straight 3 times. There must be a coordination thing.
So you were thinking we were going to get Morgan back to the good old days of like, I lose people, then I lose myself, and I'm going to go killing everyone. Clear?
Yeah, I thought like he'd literally heard like she had put an emphasis on certain words and he was like, oh my god, hit a message.
Oh, yeah.
No, what I didn't expect was Morgan, take the baby and run away. Forget about us, we're basically all dead anyway. Just go.
That to me was kind of crazy. That was like, what are you
doing? Like, I expect that from Grace's character because she just wants Morgan and the baby to survive.
Yeah.
So from her character point of view, that makes sense.
But don't you think
from
again,
Morgan's point of view, no sense.
But don't you think again that you have got this whole emphasis built from that of I'm not abandoning everyone, but if we can't take the tower, then I will have to take the baby and go. The whole build up to it is we gotta go, we gotta do it now, 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 and then he just goes. Now, the idea, I'm guessing, is the fact that because the submarine's not safe anymore, he can't leave the baby with someone at the sub and go and take the tower and then come back for the baby. I'm guessing that's what it is, but I'm just... When you make that much of a big deal, when you make that much of an arc, a scene, a character development moment of this impacted me so greatly, just for him, as you say, 12 minutes later to make that same decision again... I think we need more than having to try and piece together why, ourselves. So, like, why would he do that? Why would you make such a big deal out of it? And then, actually, thinking about it, leaving was quite a good idea. I got my own show. No, I'm good. I'll leave again. Maybe I'll get Morgan the spin-off.
Oh, man, can you imagine?
Yeah, Morgan squared. Morgan and Morgan.
Mo and Mo.
Yeah.
Momo.
Yeah. Momo. There we go. The Fear the Walking Dead spin-off none of us knew we wanted. Momo. It's just him feeding a kid and talking about old stories. There was this one time me met up with my old buddy Rick, who I'd not seen in a few years. I arrived just as he murdered 3 people. Nice guy. Great guy. Really fun.
Yeah. Campfire stories of his life.
That's it. That's just it. Just Momo.
But it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. I will pick out one thing that made me smile in this, which was a throwaway line, but it was a line I enjoyed, and that's Morgan walking ahead of the herd with Baby Mo. So all of these walkers are on his ass. He's walking along, and he looks down at Baby Mo and goes, I really hope you don't remember any of this.
No. What worries me is he then says another line.
Go on then.
He says to Baby Mo, when you grow up, I hope you don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
And then his next line is like, well, I hope you get to grow up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Now that to me was like the whole, but we've got the rest of our lives together. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Have you just killed off?
No, they ain't killing off Baby Mo. No. Some shows kids die. In this one, they don't. Well, not babies anyway. Not on
No.
screen. Not ones we know the name
Not on screen,
of.
no. But you know, it's like that was
Yeah.
just one of those lines that made me go, wait a minute.
See, I was just kind of laughing at the first part, which is like, I really hope you don't remember anything. And it's kind of like, yeah, because
Yeah, I
otherwise,
completely understand that. You have had a hell of a start in life, kid.
that kid is growing up with serious trauma. So
However,
yeah,
if next week's episode Mo's back and there's no baby, and he's like, what happened? It fell overboard. Because I told it last week that I hope it grows up. You know.
What happened to the baby? Dropped it. Poof. Oops.
I was changing a nappy.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. I moved to the side and the whole thing tipped. I don't know.
Yeah, butterfingers. Anyway, I'm here to fight. Yeah, so basically that's the end of the episode. Morgan and Baby Mo leave. So big question mark. Has Morgan left the show?
But Sherry didn't get on board either, even though Sherry's pregnant and they're going to war in radiation.
Yeah, Sherry's still up for the fight even though she's pregnant. And Alicia's back in charge. And Alicia's like, okay, everybody, let's go. And everyone marches after her with their masks. Well,
some of them. So I messaged you, didn't I? There's about 50% of the people putting masks on with masks, and the other 50% are like, nah, we're going to die anyway.
The other 50% are like just wrapping a scarf around going, nah, make the best of it.
Yeah, and there is that one scene I messaged you about about half hour into the show.
Yeah.
Just one of those scenes that just, at the moment for me, is kind of typifying what this show is at the moment.
Okay.
And it's the two of them walking along through like the rubble area.
Yeah.
And what I'm assuming is meant to be a walker walks between some rocks behind them.
Yeah.
With no acting skill at all, it genuinely looks like a cast member just walks across like, they can't see me. Oh crap. Did anyone see where I put the coffee? It's over there. Oh crap, 1 second, I'll go get it.
I think there's enough we can critique the show, but I love the idea that you're like, nah, that walker, that extra fired.
They just walk across. There's no kind of like stumbling. He just walks in between these two rocks, and I'm like, that is definitely a cast member.
Just a walker in the background, basically strutting a moonwalk.
The way he does it, all I could see, I went back and watched it like 3 or 4 times. I was like, was that a... Then I watched it again and I'm like, no, that I was like, it could have been a walker. And let's put it down to it was a walker, because at this point they're still meant to be getting followed.
Yeah, definitely.
I say meant to be because we see one walker walk between 2 rocks and we don't see any others at all.
Not until...
I'm just like, it was just one of those little things that made me go, yeah, that is how gripped by this episode I am.
Yeah.
I am complaining that it looks like a guy in the background forgot his coffee and ran across it.
I think that's the thing. So the last thing I want to talk about, the thing, is when they tried to dump these walkers, they did get to the crater, and the crater's practically empty. And as me and you surmised, someone has backed a truck of some sort into the crater to create a ramp, and the walkers/lemmings have leapt on it and have all left. So
yeah.
2 questions to go with this. 1, who? And 2, why? And is this a sign of a greater looming threat? And perhaps Team Strand and Team Morgan, or Team Alicia now, need to actually be united against this threat?
Oh my god, it's going to be Madison.
Is it Madison? Just like, I've now got a radioactive army. Whoop whoop. You know, I don't know. I've got... this show's so all over the place at the moment. There are times where I watch shows and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and I love it because I'm trying to work it out. And then there's this right now where I'm like, I should know. I should have an idea of what's going on. But yeah, so someone has seen a crater full of radioactive walkers and thought, that's fun.
And they've also managed to go and get a car transporter and somehow reverse it off and down and then disconnect it and drive off in it.
Yeah, and create...
Because it's just the ramp part, that's it.
Perfect, and created a perfect ramp. And
what I loved as well was the walker just crawling, dragging himself up it as a... No, that's... Because we needed visually to be shown that they were using the ramp.
Yeah, we did. We needed that. Desperately needed that.
Yeah.
What did you think of the bit where the walker collapsed? Clearly the radiation meant his legs gave out, and then another one stomped on its head. I was kind of like, oh, I don't think I've seen a walker killed by a walker before.
Friendly fire!
Yeah, I think that's my first walker kill in The Walking Dead. I could be
Quite
wrong.
possibly,
But
actually.
anybody, anybody, get in touch. If you can think of a walker killing a walker before, let me know.
It was brilliant.
I generally, I can't think of one.
The other thing for it is, okay, that crater was full.
Yeah, we're talking
Like, we
thousands,
are talking thousands of them here.
Yeah.
No one spotted them on their walk arounds. Like, the Rangers haven't spotted them.
Well, this is
Morgan's
it.
group haven't spotted them walking around.
It's like someone has put that in there and then lured them out, like blasting out some music, and is basically driving ahead of a massive radioactive herd right now. So someone is literally, you got the nuclear button, so to speak. Someone is like, I march a herd into a settlement, that messes it up. I march this herd into a settlement. Whoa, this is bad stuff. So who could it possibly be? Well, we do know of a very, very well organized, well equipped bunch of assholes who fly around in helicopters and have got equipment, and also we saw marched a herd into a settlement and then went, oh no, a herd took out the something facility.
Portland?
Yeah.
Oregon, Portland,
all of them. Basically.
Yeah, all of them.
So could it be that this has been weaponized? I don't know. I like I said, I am baffled, good
That's
sir.
That's how they connect the shows. It's now going to be the world beyond is going to be linked in because it's going to be these people with them.
Oh, don't! I'm still in mourning for the time I spent watching that show. Anyway. So that is it. That is Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 13 here on Walking Dead Wednesday. Again, an episode with more questions and answers, an episode with storytelling we're not quite understanding. Our hope continues. Our hope continues that as each week we will suddenly get some things that click into place and we can get some momentum back, because at the moment I do agree with some of our fellow listeners. It feels like it's floundering.
And we only have 3 episodes left.
We do. Yeah, we do. So
therefore,
that is it.
A maximum of 3 hours of Madison time. How amazing is that? Only 3 hours.
I don't. Unless one of those
I'm counting down.
Unless one of those hours is her getting bit again and dying. Anyway.
They bring her back just to kill her off. You'd be so happy.
Do you know what? We've been talking about, Alicia being bit and not turning and all that stuff. What if Madison comes back and she's been bitten all over? Like, she survived that and she's like, I don't know why I never turned. Like, I managed to get out with these bites. I had a bit of a fever.
She's got like a lump missing out of her neck.
And she's like, but I'm okay. Like, I managed to bandage myself up and I never turned. I wonder if perhaps I've got some sort of cure. And Alicia's there like, me too.
Yeah, wait a minute. It took me 6 months to finally get over the fever, but now I'm fine. And Alicia's like, yes, 3 months left.
I know, exactly. But of course that won't happen. But look, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for listening. I know the Fear the Walking Dead shows at the moment are a bit all over the place, but stick with us. Hopefully things are click into place. The Walking Dead universe continues to expand. They're announcing new spin-off shows and giving out more details all the time. Keep an eye on our Facebook page for that. If you're fans of other genres as well and other shows and movies that we talk about, our Marvel Mondays have continued. The Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness review is available. It's 2 hours long, so, kick back and maybe break that down over a few days. But yeah, there's plenty of content. Just keep an eye on the Facebook page with all the latest news and entertainment as well. You can find our TikTok account, which is going to become more active again this week as we put more content out there. If you're interested in Marvel shows, the She-Hulk trailer has dropped and looks very interesting. But yes, we shall see. Until next week, though, if you're just a Walking Dead fan, that's fine. We will be back next Wednesday for another Walking Dead Wednesday. Until then, everybody, you all take care.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.